I'm going to present a job program that is like similar to Professor Darity's proposal. This proposal was developed by a group of economists and other the activists in Chicago. And to be fair, we started this program before the Great Recession has started. So the group was kind of working on this in 2007, late in 2007. And then the purpose was that there were some observations. The observations were that the U.S. economy, how do you do that? Yeah. Every recession, during the recovery, the recovery would be more costly than the previous ones. So you would have longer unemployment periods, you would have lower jobs, and some of the industries would disappear. So the recovery would never be as stronger as before. So we had 6 principles for this job program, and the first principle is that the failure of the private economy to generate jobs in long term. So the reason that we have such a weak recovery, post World War II, is that the private economy has failed to produce long-term jobs. So in fact, if you look at here, after the recessions, the unemployment will be like, the recovery period will be like, after 1990 was 23 months. After 2001, it was 39 months. If you go back compared to the most recent recessions to the older ones, the recoveries are weaker and the job growths are weaker too. So U.S. private economy failed to produce jobs at the rate needed. So this is the first observation that we make, and this is the first objective. The second one is that labor force segmentation. Now, Professor Darity and others, they talked about it. So as we know that we have jobs are not allocated randomly across the different state of the labor force. So you have discrimination at institution levels. You have gender discrimination, race discrimination. So, and these are evident from the income distribution. If you just look at the the median incomes of different groups, it's kind of a self-evident. And the second one is that we have, occupation distribution is also reflects that point that we have, this labor force segmentation. If you just look at this graph, we see the percent of the males in each industry. These are the employments, and it's clear. Just I don't have to repeat it more. The third one is that, as Professor Darity said before, it's really the reason that people are unemployed is not that they don't have matching skills and other things. It's just the reason that people are unemployed is that because of lack of economically and socially useful work to be done. And although there are needs in the economy that needs to be met, so those needs are so we have that there's a lot that can be done in the economy that either private sectors cannot do it, or the government is not a good conducive, or cannot do that through taxing policies or incentives. So what do we propose? We need to replace our, and upgrade our infrastructure. We need to renew much of the work done by the CCC and the similar programs in our parks and recreation areas. And also another important factor is that when you compare U.S. to other developed countries, that there is this deficit in healthcare provision. So, and the next one is that I want to show is that it's the public sector. So the size of the public sector versus the income inequality. Again, you see that U.S. is the size of public sector is very low compared to other OECD countries, and the countries that you have more government involvement, they have less income inequality. And this is a good example. Is that, for example, look at Sweden, where the public sectors as a percent of GDP is around 30%, 28%, and their Gini index is 0.23 compared to US 0.45. Okay, so the sixth objective is that jobs program as redistributive policy. In other words, there has to be redistribution. That the money has to come from somewhere to improve the job situation. So, and this is based on there is a need for restructuring the U.S. economy. So what we are arguing is that there was an industrial policy in this country up to the Great Recession, actually still it goes on, and that was that the financial sector. The financial sector was really getting big in that, and they were getting a lot of subsidies from the government. So, so this crisis, it presents an opportunity to kind of restructure the economy. So let me just kind of give you the numbers, how we want to do it, what is the proposal. So the size, how big is the CPEC's jobs program? So it includes the number of jobs needed to be, we have underemployed and employed, we want, and how many jobs we are proposing? We are proposing that the economy should produce 4 million to 5 years jobs over the 2008-2013 period. And unfortunately, the economic scenario did not change, so our forecast, our numbers are still relevant. It seems like the private sector, our projection was that the private sector produces 1.5 and 1.6 million jobs in this 5-year period, and it seems like our projections were not off. So as the economy grows or recovers, the private sector is not going to produce those 4 to 5 million jobs. So which means that there has to be a government involvement. So there is a 3.5 million jobs per year from the direct or indirect government action to get our 4 million year job creation target. This is the number that we're proposing, and this 3.54 million jobs per year. It's basically the purpose is that to bring down the unemployment rate so low that you also reduce the unemployment rate for the discriminated groups in the labor market. So this is if you want to look at the longer paper, you can go to the CPEC online website and you will see our more detailed discussion about that. So what jobs should be created? Well, we don't differ from Professor Deridy's jobs proposal on that. Most of the jobs that are going to be created is going to be government jobs. They have to be. And also the investments in the jobs that for the forward-looking industries, for example, green technologies and other things. So since I have time limitation here, let me just say that what is the cost of this program. So the point is that, as I said before, we did have an industrial policy. The industrial policy was to support the financial sector, and we saw what happened after that. So if there wasn't, so now we just have to change our industrial policy to create jobs for real jobs for those who need those jobs. Okay, so here you see that what was the industrial policy that increased the really incomes and the share of the financial industry. The first graph shows the financial industry profits as a share of U.S. business profits. And you see from 1948 to 2007, their shares were increasing a lot. And as we know that after the TARP, the government help, and the shares started to increase again. And here in the second line, you see the pay per worker in the financial sector as a percentage of average U.S. compensation income. And you see that it has increased over the years. And these are known facts. I don't have to repeat that more. So what kind of jobs created, right? So we want the good jobs. And what we have is that we want, our program argues that we have the medians, the jobs has to be like, they should meet this criteria. The median salary in the fourth quarter of 2009 was $18.47 per hour, or $38,400 per year. So the jobs that our proposal tries to create, they have to meet these standards. So what else do these jobs they offer? Of course, they're going to be permanent jobs. They're going to be full employment. There's going to be not temporary. And also, they're going to be good jobs that long-term, not temporary. Okay, I don't have, so what is the cost of the program? So when you design a program like that, you kind of, we felt like we have to show how much it's going to cost and how we propose to fund this program. So in our calculations, the total annual cost varies from 158.6 billion years per year, and for 5 years, it will be like $860 billion in total. So, and this was about, in 2000, about 6% of the US GDP. So, and remember that each 1% decline in unemployment costs the federal spending, federal tax deficit by about, the spending by $90 billion. So some of it, as we reduce the unemployment, is going to finance itself, and the other one part is going to come from who is going to pay for that, and this is going to come from the financial sector. That's what this is. This is how, and let me just show that. So there has been in other countries discussion about the taxing the financial transactions, and what we proposed in that is doing something like this. And let me just show the how we're going to do that. And this tax that we propose is not something new. Instead, in fact, there was a paper in 1987 by Summers himself. He was proposing a tax like that, that the financial sector taxes are going to decrease the speculation in the financial markets, and also we might benefit fund some of these programs. So so this is the famous quote from Keynes, and when the financial market, when the capital development of a country becomes a byproduct of the activities of a casino, the job is likely to be ill done. This is the famous quote. And from the casino economy to the real economy, what we propose that to reduce the speculation by taxing and also using that revenue to fund these jobs. So if you have if you want to, I can explain more on detail on this program if you have questions. And you can also go to cpagonline.org to get the full program and more updates. Thank you very much.